Professor Kim here, and I cannot wait to teach you Dimension. This is a spherical, stacking, fast-paced puzzle game for 1 to 4 players. In Dimension, players are trying to stack spheres as accurately as possible based on the parameters for the round. These cards tell you whether you should place spheres next to each other, on top of each other, more than the other, and so forth. Depending on how accurate you are, you're going to earn a certain number of victory points at the end of the round, and whoever has the most at the end of the game wins. There are 6 rounds in the game, and to get set up for the whole game, make sure every player does the following. Take a player tray and place it in front of you. Collect your 15 spheres, 5 different colors with 3 spheres each. Take an overview tile and place it next to you. Collect 10 points. Lastly, have someone shuffle up the task cards and place them in the center of the table. As well, make sure the hourglass is visible to all players. So, what happens in a round? One player will draw 6 task cards and place them visibly in the center of the table. Each card indicates a certain rule or restriction or requirement for that particular round. Make sure to ask exactly what each card does when you're playing for the very first time so that there's no confusion about what you should and shouldn't do once the timer begins. Next, flip that hourglass. While the hourglass runs down, players will try to arrange their spheres in the central playing area according to the rules they see on the task cards. You can fit 7 spheres on level 1, either 2 or 3 spheres on level 2, and on level 3 you can only place 1 sphere. As soon as the sand has gone through the hourglass, players can no longer add or move any of the spheres to their central playing area. At this point, players will evaluate how successfully they completed the task cards. This is when you receive points. Everybody will collect 1 point for each sphere that's in the central play area. Next, one of the players reads aloud each task card one by one, and every player will check if they completed it. If they did, they receive 2 points. If they didn't, if they broke the rule, they lose 2 points. You've probably been wondering what these tokens are for. Let's say a player completes all 6 task cards. They receive a bonus token. Bonus tokens will come into play at the end of the game based on this particular chart. As you can see, if you earn no bonus tokens, you'll get negative points. Let's zoom in a little bit for an example. I'll walk you through what these particular task cards mean and show you my attempt at getting a perfect round. Here are the task cards for this round. I must have exactly 2 black spheres. Not 1, not 3, 2. My greens are not allowed to touch each other. My blue spheres must touch each other. Not all of them, but it must be touching one other sphere of that color. My green sphere and black sphere cannot touch. I must have exactly a combination of 4 spheres of white and black. And I must have more white spheres than green spheres. Once the cards are flipped over and everyone sees them, the timer begins. So my blues must touch each other. I might start with 3 on the bottom because I get 1 point for each. My greens must be fewer than whites. I must have 2 blacks, and that means I have to have 2 whites to match this. And so I need to have only 1 green. My green can't touch my black, and I can't touch greens to each other. So I think what I might do is include orange because orange doesn't matter. And I put my green on top because my green can't touch my black. I'm going to double check my work.
I have 2 whites and 2 blacks. I need that. I have more whites than I have green. My blues are touching each other each. I have 2 blacks. My greens can't touch.
I think I'm done. And I made it before the timer is up. Now that my opponents have finished, I will collect 1 point for every sphere in my space. That means that I get 11. So I'll take 11 from the pile and I will put it in my space. Then I will look at, yes, I have 2 black spheres. None of my greens touch each other because I only had 1. My blues, blue touches a blue, blue touches a blue. Again, not all 3 of them have to touch each other. Here I've got greens, does not touch my black spheres, so that's good. Here I've got exactly 4. I've got 1 white in the center bottom, I've got a white back here on this backspace, and I have 2 blacks right there, so I get that one as well. And here I've definitely got more whites than greens. You can even tell because of the remainders that I have in my reserve. So that means I get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 points. I will take my 12 points like this, and I will also get to take one of the bonus tokens. This means that I essentially earned my way out of a negative 6 points at the end of the game, and potentially, as long as my next rounds go all right, might earn me positive victory points by the end of the game. At this point, everyone will reset their spheres, collect the cards, and get ready for a new round. Thanks for joining me for this tutorial of Dimension. It's a great game for problem solving and critical thinking. I love the idea of having multiple rules going on in your head and you're on the clock. And you have to really think on your feet here. This is also a great game for tactile learners. You are learning in 3D. You are building this kind of pyramid with your spheres. It is fast and fun, and if you mess up on a round, maybe you miss a couple task cards and you flub it, don't worry. You have 6 total rounds to earn as many points as you can. So, have fun with Dimension.